gap in our city.
And CMPD investigating a homicide right here in Northwest Charlotte. Why they say they need your help in solving this crime.
The federal government shutdown taking a toll on families here in Charlotte.
So we may have to start making some adjustments.
This morning, how local charities are stepping up while workers aren't getting paid.
The CMS School Choice Lottery is officially open for the 2026-2027 school year. Coming up, what families need to know before applying.
President Trump lands in Israel to a hero's welcome as the first set of hostages are set free. The latest on a crucial day for the future of peace in the Middle East.
New data reveals 1 in 5 children are being bullied at school.
The impact it's having on your kids and how we all can help. Those stories and much more live, local, and breaking news coming up at 7 a.m. on WCNC Plus.
An active crash this morning. This will be those inbound lanes on Independence Boulevard. Here's a picture of it. You can see it is going to be very slow moving. That's at Eastway Drive there. We have 2 back-to-back problems on Independence. First, if you're trying to get onto the Brookshire Freeway, we have a stalled vehicle, and that's the one here that I just showed you a picture of. So, yeah, if you typically take Independence inbound, it's going to be very slow. You may consider taking Monroe or Central Ave instead, but I'll be following this morning on WCNC Plus. Chris?
And real quick, plain and simple, those temperatures are almost close to 80 degrees for most of the next 7 days. So all right. Even the lower 80s heading into the weekend as well. And as far as our rain chances go, we only have one on Sunday, but we're just waiting on those clouds to clear, and we're already starting to see a little sign of it. Look at that perfectly. The heavens opening up right above the Queen City.
Like you planned it. All right, folks, make sure you join us over on WCNC Plus starting at 7. Have a great day.
7 a.m. right now on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
I'm Lisa Washington, and we start things off with your forecast on this Monday. It was a chilly, kind of damp weekend, but Chris says things are changing. I mean, take a look at this from our tower cam. You can see there.
Right there. See? It might not look like much, but that's the sunshine that's coming. You are going to see more than that, but the sky is starting to crack. We saw a few bright spots yesterday. We also saw them on Saturday. We're actually going to be able to see some of that Carolina blue return a lot more vibrant throughout today. So here's what it looks like, and here's what it feels like. 62 degrees right now. Still on the breezy side as well. 61 right around Concord and 54 in Boone. So I get to work around 2:30 in the morning. Temperatures were pretty much this when I got into work. So it really shows that we're not really seeing a big difference. That's the power of two things. Cloud cover and a breezy start is how you maximize your morning low, and this is by far going to be the warmest low that we have going forward. Since we're going to see the sunshine, I think we're going to exceed what the models are telling us. So I have us getting up to about 77 degrees for a high. Since we're starting off so warm, we only have to warm up 15 degrees, and I think that's pretty easy for us to do. Reaching the mid-70s by the end of the afternoon with a lot more sunshine. Just note, even though we're clearing out the clouds, it is not just an instant process like a cold front passing us. At times, I think it will still be mostly cloudy, and then it turns over to partly cloudy, so back and forth, forever changing sky conditions. Overnight tonight, things really start to clear out. We have the mid-50s eventually dropping back down to that point right around the sunrise time at 7:28, and it should feel pretty good as well. Now, our low temperatures going forward, we're still technically above normal because the new average low is 52 degrees, and it'll drop down to around 50 and 51 by Friday. So we're either at the norm or above it over the next 10 days for our low temperatures. Our relative humidity is a little bit on the higher side. It is drying out substantially here around the Charlotte area. It's not until it really drops down below 60% that it doesn't really support rain anymore. So we will still have a chance for a few sprinkles over the next couple of hours, but our muggy meter, don't worry about it. And soon this will be put back in the archives because I'm not going to need it, because the chances of us reaching that humid and muggy air becomes less and less as we head into November. Now, how you feel? It's going to be great. No problem. Oh, so nice. Don't worry about it. This is what I'm talking about. But we still do have a little low pressure system right here. This is the big one that was all interconnected with all that flooding that happened. Well, the secondary one is going to waste no time getting out of here, pushing its way back out in the Atlantic, just keeping some clouds around, and we start our drying trend. I do not have another rain chance until Sunday. That's right, Sunday on the extended forecast. And as I mentioned, it's an above average next 7 days. 74 is our average high, 52 is our average low. We're close to 80 degrees most of the days this week, and it feels great. This is really the sweet spot of October, so carpe diem, my friends. Get out each and every day, enjoy it. Those evening walks are great as well. Winds dying down through today, and then heading into the weekend, 82 on Saturday, 80 with increasing clouds and another chance for rain. All in all, fantastic. Not just but also Majestic's very excited about this forecast. Let's see if the morning commute's excitable.
All right, let's get to it. If you're waking up getting ready to head out the door, a few things to know. Independence is not looking great. Here's a picture of it. This is inbound on Independence Boulevard, specifically at Eastway Drive. You can see all the cars. They are moving. Again, this is just a picture, but they're moving rather slowly, and it's because we have some problems on Independence this morning. First things first, close to the Brookshore Freeway, there's a car that's stalled out in the middle of the road. It's blocking one lane, so that's going to slow you down. But in addition to it, out towards Eastway Drive, that's where we do have an ongoing wreck, so significantly slowing you down this morning. It's backed up all the way to Albemarle Road. So with that being said, either allow for plenty of extra drive time to get to where you need to be on time, or you could even take Monroe Road or Central Ave. In addition to that, I want to show you 485 out towards Matthews. The inner loop there is starting to get a little backed up, but no accidents, just more people waking up and starting their day. However, we do have an accident right here. It's on I-485, the outer loop at West Boulevard. That's going to be exit 6. It's backed up to exit 10 right now. We'll have more on this and a few other things that I'm watching out for coming up in just a few minutes.
Now to some breaking news we're following for you this morning. 2 people finding critical injuries after being stabbed in West Charlotte last night. Medic confirming this happened on Nobles Avenue over near West Boulevard. No word yet what led up to that incident. That's just one of several crime updates we're following this morning.
Right now, police are investigating a deadly shooting in North Charlotte. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Gervais joins us live this morning with the very latest. Richard.
Yeah, good morning to you, Lisa. Good morning, Ben. Good Monday morning to the folks watching us on the Plus. Basically, police say this is the latest homicide that they're investigating that happened right here in Northwest Charlotte at this location over my shoulder. And they say they need your help to help solve this incident. Now, this all happened, police say, this deadly shooting along this busy stretch of Charlotte's northwest side. Police say they were called to the 5000 block of Beatty'sford Road around 7 Sunday evening. This about a report of an assault with a deadly weapon. When officers arrived on scene, they found a man who was suffering gunshot wound at the Wingstop restaurant, inside that restaurant, I should say. Medic pronounced him dead at the scene. Now, police say the victim was not an employee at the store where this shooting happened. Detectives with the homicide unit spent hours collecting evidence and speaking with witnesses. The department says this remains an active and ongoing investigation. At this time, they don't have the name of the victim. They haven't released it yet, nor have they said if they have a name of a possible suspect. We can tell you they're going to be going over surveillance video later today, checking that out. They also say that if anyone out there has information about what happened at this restaurant over my shoulder, to please give them a call. We're right here in Northwest Charlotte. This is Richard Devane. We'll send it back to you.
All right, Richard, thanks so much for that live report. Coming up, we're going to be taking a live look. President Trump in the Middle East this morning. He's joining Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. We'll have some live pictures for you. .08 right now on WCNC Plus. We want to go live to Israel. President Trump is addressing the Israeli parliament as the first steps of that U.S. brokered peace deal, the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Let's listen in.
A day to give our deepest thanks to the Almighty God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. After 2 harrowing years in darkness and captivity, 20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their families, and it is glorious. 28 more precious loved ones are coming home at last to rest in this sacred soil for all of time. And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity. This is not only the end of a war, this is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East. I want to express my gratitude to a man of exceptional courage and patriotism, whose partnership did so much to make this momentous day possible. You know who I'm talking about. There's only one, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Bibi, please stand up. And he is not easy, I want to tell you. He's not the easiest guy to deal with, but that's what makes him great. That's what makes him great. Thank you very much, baby. Great job. And let me also convey my tremendous appreciation for all of the nations of the Arab and Muslim world that came together to press Hamas to set the hostages free and to send them home. We had a lot of help. We had a lot of help from a lot of people that you wouldn't suspect, and I want to thank them very much for that. It's an incredible triumph for Israel and the world to have all of these nations working together as partners in peace. And it's pretty unusual for you to see that, but it happened in this case. This was a very unusual point in time, a brilliant point in time. Generations from now, this will be remembered as the moment that everything began to change, and change very much for the better. Like the USA right now, it will be the golden age of Israel and the golden age of the Middle East. It's going to work together. I'd like to thank several great American patriots for their invaluable help in getting something done that almost everyone thought was absolutely impossible. We were wasting our time. So many people said, "You're just wasting your time." But we weren't, because we had talented people working with us, and we had people that loved your country, and frankly, people that loved the region. They loved the Middle East. I want to thank my friend Steve Witkoff. You know, Steve was chosen by me. He never did this before, but I knew him as a few things. He was a great businessman, but I know a lot of great businessmen, to be honest with you. He had tremendous negotiating skills, but I know a lot of people that negotiate pretty well, although it is an art. But there are people that can negotiate pretty well. But most importantly with Steve, he's just a great guy. Everybody loved him. Everybody. I mean, I know some negotiators that are so good, but you wouldn't have had peace in the Middle East. It would be in World War III right now with some of these guys. Everybody loves Steve, and they respect him, and they somehow can relate to him. I've known him for many years, and I've seen it over and over again.
להוציא את חבר הכנסת עודה, להוציא אותו מהאולם, להוציא אותו מיד, החוצה, החוצה.
Please expel this Knesset member. Please expel this Knesset member.
להוציא גם את חבר הכנסת כסיף. להוציא את חבר הכנסת כסיף מהאולם.
expel Knesset member Kasif
להוציא
out
אותו
of the
מיד.
hall. Please expel him immediately.
Sorry for that, Mr. President.
I'm
That was very efficient. So back to Steve. He's But I tell one story because he was so involved, and then we called in Jared. We need that brain on occasion. We got to get Jared in here. We got to get a certain group of people. But Steve started this all by himself. I call him Henry Kissinger, who doesn't leak. Okay? Henry is a big leaker. He leaked. Steve doesn't leak. Steve just wants to get the job done. He wants to do what's right. But I'll give you just a quick story because, as you know, he's working on the war with Russia and Ukraine, a war that would have never happened if I were president. A shame. 7,000 young soldiers a week are being killed. More than that this last week. It's a shame. Should have never happened. But it did happen, and we won the race, and I took over this horrible war that's been raging, and I thought it would be easily settled. I thought it was a hell of a lot easier than doing what we just did very successfully with Israel and a lot of other people. But this came first, and we'll get that one. But I set up a meeting for him to meet with President Putin, thinking it would be a 15 or a 20-minute meeting. Steve had no idea about Russia, had no idea about Putin too much, didn't know too much about politics, wasn't that interested. He was really good at real estate, but he had that quality that I was looking for, and I didn't see it around in too many ways. And I set up the meeting with Putin, and I called. I said, is Steve finished yet? That was about a half an hour into the meeting. No, sir, he's not. He's still inside. This is in Moscow. I said, well, how's he doing? I don't know, sir. He's still inside. I called up an hour later. Let me speak to Steve. Sir, he's still with Putin. He's with President Putin. I said, wow, that's a long meeting, 1 hour. I called up an hour later, he was still with Putin. 3 hours later, he was still with Putin. 4 hours later, he started to get the word that he was going to be coming out soon. And in 5 hours, he came out. I said, what the hell were you talking about for 5 hours? And he says, just a lot of interesting things. We're talking about a lot of interesting things, including what he went in there for, but you can't talk about it for 5. You can talk about it for a certain period of time, and you know what you're getting. But that's a talent. That's a talent, where you can do that. Most people I'd send in, number one, they wouldn't be accepted. Number two, if they were, the meeting would last 5 minutes. And that's what happens with Steve. Everybody loves him. They love him on this side. They love him on the other side. And he really is. He's a great negotiator because he's a great guy. So thank you very much, Steve. Very much. And let me also give a very special thanks to someone who truly loves Israel. In fact, loves it so much that my daughter converted. My daughter converted. I didn't know this was going to happen. And Ivanka's here. And Bibi, you do know this was not in the cards for me. You understand that. And she is so happy, and they are so happy. At least I think they're happy. If they're not, we have a big story, right? No, they have a great marriage, and they get along great. They're best friends. They have a very special relationship. But Jared has been so helpful. He really did something very special. He established the Abraham Accords with a group of very wonderful people. I like calling it the Avraham Accords, because people that, right? Avraham. It's so cool. It's so much sort of nicer, you know, the Abraham versus the Avraham. I just don't want to sound too sanctimonious when I do it, so, you know, I sort of split it up. This way we keep everybody happy. But we have some very great talent, and they have no excuses for anything that's taken place, because we had some unbelievably good people working on this. And then you're going to add a man named Marco Rubio, who is also here. That's right. And I have a prediction that Marco will go down, I mean this, as the greatest Secretary of State in the history of the United States. I believe that. I believe it. And he and I, you know, we really fought it out. You remember, he was tough. He was nasty. Who the hell thought this was going to happen, Marco, right? And now I'm saying he's going to go down as the greatest. He will. He was always smart and sharp, and people respect him. And then we have somebody who's young, but an unbelievable leader. I saw it a long time ago, and he's turned out to be even better than we thought. Right, Susie? I think even better. And that's Pete Hegseth, who is our Secretary of War, formerly Secretary of Defense. And as you know, we decisively won World War I. We decisively won World War II decisively. And everything in between and everything before it, we won everything. And then they had the brilliant idea of changing the name from war, you know, it was war, to defense. And with that went a certain thinking. And we fought in a very politically correct way after that. We always had the strongest military, and now we have a stronger military than we've ever had before. Because of my first term, I've totally rebuilt the military, every aspect of it. But we have, if you think, we settled 8 wars in 8 months. I'm now including this one, by the way, if that's okay. They may say, well, that was quick. Because yesterday I was saying 7, but now I can say 8. The hostages are back. The hostages are back. It is a good feeling. Isn't that nice to say? You know, I just said the hostage. First time I said the hostages are back. It feels so good to say it. But when you settle 8 wars in 8 months, that means you don't like war. Everyone thought I was going to be brutal. In fact, I remember Hillary Clinton during a debate, she said, look at him, he's going to go to war with everybody. And actually, she said, he's got a personality that's all about war. No, and my personality actually is all about stopping wars, and it seems to work. It seems to work. But it also means this name change and our attitude that we're not going to go into a war, but if we do, we're going to win that war like nobody has ever won a war before. We will not be politically correct, but we're not going to be there. And I think, you know, as you mentioned, Bibi, before, peace through strength, and that's what it's all about. The United States has the greatest and most powerful military in the, right now, history of the world. I can tell you we have weapons that nobody's ever dreamt of. I only hope we never have to use them. I rebuilt the military. I was proud to do it, but some of the things I hated to do. I hated certain of the weapons because the level of power is so enormous. It's so dangerous, so bad. But we have to do what we have to do. We make the best weapons in the world, and we've got a lot of them. And we've given a lot to Israel, frankly. And I mean, Bibi would call me so many times, can you get me this weapon, that weapon, that weapon? Some of them I never heard of, Bibi, and I made them. But we'd get them here, wouldn't we? Huh? And they are the best. They are the best. But you used them well. It also takes people that know how to use them. And you obviously used them very well. But so many that Israel became strong and powerful, which ultimately led to peace. That's what led to peace. So as we celebrate today, let us remember how this nightmare of depravity and death all began. 2 years ago, on the eve of the Simchat Torah holiday, thousands of innocent Israeli civilians were attacked by terrorists, and one of the most evil and heinous desecrations of innocent life the world has ever seen, the worst slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust. The cruelty of October 7th struck to the core of humanity itself. Nobody could believe what they were witnessing. The United States of America grieved alongside you, and we mourned for our own citizens who were so viciously taken that day. And to all the families whose lives were forever changed by the atrocities of that day, and all of the people of Israel, please know that America joins you in those two everlasting vows: never forget and never again. From October 7th until this week, Israel has been a nation at war, enduring burdens that only a proud and faithful people could withstand. It was a very tough period of time. For so many families across this land, it has been years since you've known a single day of true peace. But now at last, not only for Israelis, but also for Palestinians and for many others, the long and painful nightmare is finally over. And as the dust settles, the smoke fades, the debris is removed, and the ashes cleaned from the air, the day that breaks on a region transformed, and a beautiful and much brighter future appears suddenly within your reach. This is now a very exciting time for Israel and for the entire Middle East, because all across the Middle East, the forces of chaos, terror, and ruin that have plagued the region for decades now stand weakened, isolated, and totally defeated. A new coalition of proud and responsible nations is emerging, and because of us, the enemies of all civilization are in retreat. Thanks to the bravery and incredible skill of the Israeli Defense Forces and Operation Rising Lion, Look at it. Guy's central casting. Let's put him in a movie. Look at him. Great job. And my people loved working with you. Loved it. They worked so well together. But many of Iran's top terrorists, including nuclear scientists and commanders, have been extinguished from this earth. And with Operation Midnight Hammer, boy, that's a great name for that, what we did. Last June, the United States military flew 7 of those beautiful B-2 bombers. They look so beautiful all of a sudden. They were always, I thought they were pretty planes. I had no idea they could do what they did. In fact, we just ordered 28 more of them. A little updated version. We ordered a whole pile of them. And almost 100 other planes went with them, including fighter jets. And we had 52 tankers, big, beautiful, brand new tankers that were loading them up 4 or 5 times. They've traveled 37 hours back and forth, think of that. But we had tankers all over the sky for all the other planes. We had the F-22s, the F-35s, F-16s. We had a hell of a lot of planes. So we had 52 gas stations in the sky. That's what they call them. I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to be flying one of them. We have our great General Raisin Cain right here. General, stand up. This guy. What a general. Thank you. I asked General Cain, I said, you know, we're having problems with ISIS, and I was in Washington, and I asked, how long would it take to defeat ISIS? And my Washington generals told me, 3, 4, maybe 5 years, sir. I said, I don't get it. We got the best equipment in the world. Why? So I flew to Iraq, and I met with a man named Cain. He said, what's your first name? He said, they call me Raisin, sir. I said, wait a minute, your name is Raisin Cain? I've been looking for you for a long time. You gotta be kidding. So they told me 3, 4, 5 years to defeat ISIS. And I sit down with him and I say, why is it? I flew there in the dark of night. I landed, I'll never forget it. It was quite a trip. I'm glad I made it because I met him. I said, could I ask you, General? I come down. He said with another general and a sergeant. Everybody was like central casting. They could go into a movie right now. Between him and you guys over here, we could get rich making movies, okay? And they got along so great. That's the beautiful thing, that your military and our military, Bibi, got along so great. But I was told by the television generals in Washington, we have the best equipment in the world. Why is it taking so long? And they said, 4 years. I said, so let me ask you, Raisin, how long would it take you to defeat ISIS? Sir, we can do it in 3 weeks, but you'll probably have some time left over. I said, you gotta be kidding. What the hell are you talking about? They said 4 years. I said, well, sir, look, it's not my place to say, but you're asking me the question. What you have to do is you hit them from the west, you hit them from the north, you hit them from the south, you hit them above, you hit them below. I said, so why didn't they do it? And he didn't want to speak badly of his superiors, which is hard to believe they were his superiors. It should have been the other way around a long time ago, because he's the one that did Operation Hammer. It was flawless. It was flawless. It was absolutely flawless. And I said, so you really think you can do it in 4 weeks? Yes, sir, 100%. You have to do it differently than they were doing it. They were using one base, and it was hundreds of miles away. And he says, we have all these portable bases all over the Middle East. And they didn't want to use them because they didn't want to offend the country where the portable, they wouldn't have even known what the hell the planes were going up, right? They wouldn't have known, but he said, no, they didn't want to defend anybody, offend anybody, but we can do it in 4 weeks. I said, you sure about that? I'm going to call you back. I'll call you back on Monday. I'm going back to Washington. But you think 4 weeks? Yes, sir, I think we can do it in 4 weeks. We'll have time left over. So I call him on Monday. I say, you think you can do it? 4 weeks. I said, go ahead and do it. He did it. I'll tell you, he did it in 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks. So, General, stand up, please. Again, this is a real general. This is not a television general. He doesn't want to go on television. He doesn't want to go on television. I said the other guys love being on television. So we dropped 14 bombs on Iran's key nuclear facilities, totally, as I said originally, obliterating them. And that's been confirmed, and everybody understands it. Together we stopped the #1 state sponsor of terror from obtaining the world's most dangerous weapons. And if you think about it, if we didn't do that, and assuming we made the same deal that we have today, there'd be a dark cloud over this deal. And #1, it wouldn't happen because the other Arab and Muslim nations really wouldn't feel comfortable making the deal that we have now, right? If Iran had that nuclear weapon that they were about 2 months away from having. They would have had it in 2 months or maybe less than that. They were right at, this was our last shot. They looked at it for 22 years. This was our last shot. The pilots told me that. They said, 22 years, sir, they looked at it. Our predecessors looked, they studied it. 3 times a year would do drills on that exact attack. And boy, did they get it right. But let's assume they didn't, and let's assume there was large-scale nuclear weapons in the hands of Iran. We couldn't be here today. Even if we signed the deal, which we couldn't do because a lot of people would not want to have anything to do with it, we took a big cloud off of the Middle East and off of Israel. And it was my honor to help. But isn't it true, though, that can you imagine the same, let's assume, Bibi, the same documents, we had everything the same, but you had somebody out there that was, in the opinion of everybody, all-powerful in the Middle East. They took a big hit, didn't they? Didn't they take a big hit? Boy, oh boy. They got it from one side, from the other. And you know, it would be great if we could make a peace deal with them. And I think that's big. Would you be happy with that? Wouldn't it be nice, I think? Because I think they want to. I think they're tired. Somebody said, sir, they're starting their nuclear program again. I said, let me tell you something. They're not starting anything. They want to survive. The last thing they want to do is start digging holes again in mountains that just got blown up and start. They're not doing it. They want to survive, okay? But I think we have a chance. Steve, you, and I think Jared, come on, I'll call you back for another one. We always bring Jared when we want to get that deal closed. We bring Jared, but Steve, you and Jared and the General and Pete and Marco, you'll get that deal done easy. I think that'll be easy. But first we have to get Russia done. We got to get that one done. If you don't mind, Steve, let's focus on Russia first, all right? We'll get it done. In Lebanon, the dagger of Hezbollah, long aimed at Israel's throat, has been totally shattered. My administration is actively supporting the new president of Lebanon in his mission to permanently disarm Hezbollah's terror brigades. He's doing very well. And build a thriving state at peace with its neighbors. And you're very much in favor of that, I know. And it's good things are happening there, really good things. And with this week's ceasefire, we've achieved the most challenging breakthrough of them all. The most challenging breakthrough maybe ever. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I've been involved in a lot of success. I have never seen anything like what's going on today all over the world. People are dancing in the streets, not just in Israel. They're dancing in the streets of countries that would have never danced in the street about what's happening today. They're dancing in those streets. So this long and difficult war has now ended. You know, some people say 3,000 years, some people say 500 years, whatever it is. It's the granddaddy of them all. And in an unprecedented achievement, virtually the entire region has endorsed the plan that Gaza will be immediately demilitarized, that Hamas will be disarmed, and Israel's security will no longer be threatened in any way, shape, or form. So Israel, with our help, has won all that they can by force of arms. You've won. I mean, you've won. Now it's time to translate these victories against terrorists on the battlefield into the ultimate prize of peace and prosperity for the entire Middle East. It's about time you were able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Mr. Opposition Leader. I said he's a very nice opposition leader. I think. No, he's a nice man. Bibi, he's a nice man. Good. He knows what he's doing, right? No, a very nice guy. Well, see, now you can be a little bit nicer, Bibi, because you're not at war anymore, Bibi. But only by embracing the opportunities of this moment can we achieve our goal of ensuring that the horrors of recent years will never happen again. You don't want to have to go through this again. 8 years ago, I came to this region on a very special first trip abroad as the President of the United States. I came here very early at your request. I addressed the leaders of the Arab and Muslim world gathered in Saudi Arabia and said that it was time to build a future free of the grip of extremism and terror. And interestingly, right now, as soon as I'm finished, I'm quite late. You've kept me quite late between opposition leaders and Bibi's brilliant but very long speech. I thought I was going to run up here, make a speech, and then head to Egypt. It didn't work out, though. And you made a pretty long one, too, Sarah. But I liked what you all said. It could be worse. Supposing on top of it, I didn't like what you said. That would be no good, Ron, would it? Ron, you did a great job, by the way, Ron. Yeah. So I'm going to be meeting, actually, in a little while, I'm going to be meeting with the most powerful, the richest nations, really, in the world, although now, with the tariffs, the United States is by far the richest nation in the world, as you probably have been reading. But the richest nations, most powerful nations, tremendous, headed by some tremendous people in many cases. Some cases I wouldn't say necessarily I would endorse. But I will tell you, some incredible people that really helped us make this all possible. So I'll be going there. I'll be quite late. They might not be there by the time I get there. But we're going to give it a shot. But the journey we started back then led to the crushing defeat of the ISIS caliphate, to the monumental Abraham Accords, and ultimately to the historic ceasefire this week, in which many of those same nations really played a very pivotal role, I have to tell you. Steve will tell you that. Jared will tell you that. Together, we've shown that peace is not just a hope that we can dream about. It's a reality we can build upon day by day, person by person, and nation by nation. And because of that, the Middle East is finally ready to embrace its extraordinary potential. You have extraordinary potential in this region. It should now be clear to everyone throughout the region that decades of fomenting terrorism and extremism, jihadism and anti-Semitism have not worked. They haven't worked. They've been a disaster. They've just killed. They've killed. They've backfired completely and totally. They've just totally backfired. Everything that you thought, take it worst case, it's turned out to be worse than that. They have not worked. From Gaza to Iran, those bitter hatreds have delivered nothing but misery, suffering, failure, and death. They've served not to weaken Israel, but to annihilate the very forces that did the most to foment this hatred. And it's really, I mean, everybody that's tried it has become irrelevant. Meanwhile, we've seen those nations that set aside their differences, reached across ancient divides, and pursued engagement are now among the most successful in the region. They're getting along with Israel, and they're doing great. And I can tell you the 4 nations that joined the Abraham Accords early on, and you'd all be doing me a favor, and I'm going to be saying this in a little while to some other friends, would love you all to, is this right, Jared? Join up in the Abraham Accords. We have to join up and get together. You can have that whole thing filled out. We had a very weak administration, worst president in the history of our country by far. And Barack Obama was not far behind, by the way. And they did nothing with this incredible document, the Abraham Accords, but now you can fill them up. Now you have peace, you have people that really like Israel, I'll tell you what, and they like Israel a lot more today than they did even 5 weeks ago. You've made a lot of, you've come back strong, because it was getting to be a little nasty out there in the world, and ultimately the world wins. You can't beat the world always. I would say to Bibi, it's now time, and he understood it better than anybody, because ultimately, you know, the world's a very big place. And I've said a lot. I said, this piece of land is very small. It's unbelievable what you've done with that tiny, you look at a map even of just, not the world, the Middle East, and you have this little dot. And think of what you've done. It's incredible. It's incredible. But the world is loving Israel again. And I said to Bibi, you know, the world is big and it's strong. And Ron, ultimately, the world wins. And we don't have to worry about that now. But there was getting to be a period of time over the last few months, you know, the world wanted peace and Israel wanted peace. Everybody did. Everybody did. And what a victory it's been, right? What a victory it's been. If you would have gone on for 3, 4 more years, keep fighting, it was getting bad. It was getting heated. The timing of this is brilliant. And I said, Bibi, you're going to be remembered for this far more than if you kept this thing going, kill. It would be it would not be the same. And I just want to congratulate you for having the courage to say, that's it, we've won. And now let's enjoy our lives and let's rebuild Israel and make it stronger and bigger and better than it's ever been before. We're going to do that. Took a lot of guts. And the choice for Palestinians could not be more clear. This is their chance to turn forever from the path of terror and violence. It's been extreme, to exile the wicked forces of hate that are in their midst. And I think that's going to happen. I've met some people the last couple of months that want to see it happen very much. And after tremendous pain and death and hardship, now is the time to concentrate on building their people up instead of trying to tear Israel down. We don't want that to happen again. And the total focus of Gazans must be on restoring the fundamentals of stability, safety, dignity, and economic development so they can finally have the better life that their children really do deserve after all these decades of horror. I intend to be a partner in this effort in the sense that we're going to help and we're going to do something that became unbelievably popular. Everybody wants to be on it. It's called the Board of Peace, okay? How about that? Is that a beautiful name? Like a board of peace. The only bad thing from my standpoint, every single nation involved has asked me to be the chair, and I'll tell you, I'm very busy. I didn't count on that, but you know what? If we do it, we'll do it right, and we have unbelievable power and wealth, because you're going to need wealth. You're going to need wealth to rebuild things, and they have wealth like few people have wealth. I want to thank the Arab and Muslim nations for their commitment that they've made to support a safe rebuilding of Gaza and beyond. I have many Arab countries, very wealthy countries, that came up and said, we'll put up tremendous amounts of money to get to rebuild Gaza, and I think that's going to happen. The power, they want dignity, they want to come forward, and they want to say, and I want to say who they are, because what they're doing is going to be, I think, something that you're going to be very impressed with, Bibi, and you need that. You need the kind of economic power that they have, and they want to see it work, and they want to see it be safe, and they want to see it be good for Israel, too. And as much money as it will be, and it's a lot, as you can see, it's a lot. For these countries, it's relatively little relative to their worth. It's really a lot of money like most people could never even conceive, but for these countries, it's not that much, especially because it ensures success and stability in the Middle East, which is what they want to see. So many of them will be with us in Egypt in a little while, I think. I'm not sure. They may be gone. They may have taken their Boeing 747s and left. I said, what kind of a plane do you fly? 747. I said, that's a large plane. No, they may have. Steve, do you think they've left on their their brand new Boeing 747s? Or I don't know. We're going to find out soon. It's going to be a big story. There'll be 2 people left, and they'll be the 2 poorest ones. But it will be the wealthiest and most powerful group of nations. So the group that we have assembled, that's waiting for us, is the wealthiest and most powerful group ever assembled at one time. There has never been a group like this, and they're only looking for good. They want good. They're going to do good. And as those commitments are made, I'm going to let the world know who's doing it, because they really deserve to get the credit, and some of them probably won't want the credit, but they deserve it. It's more obvious than ever that the productive and responsible nations of this region should not be enemies or adversaries. You should be partners and eventually even friends, and that's what's going to happen. I know it. Together you can stand against the forces of chaos. Yeah, you go ahead. That's an important point. Because you can stand against the forces of chaos that threaten all of your interests, and it's always a big threat, and unleash incredible prosperity and opportunity for all the people of these lands, and that's what's going to happen. You're going to unleash numbers and success, the likes of which Israel has never been able to think of, because you're so firm, and you should be, and you've done the right thing in defending yourself. You're not going to have to worry so much about it. You've won, and now you can build, and you can do things that you never even thought possible. When you put that genius into doing something else, it's going to be something it's going to be a miracle. The miracle in the desert, it's going to be amazing. And it already is in a true sense. But it'll be wonderful when you can spend time thinking about other than war and defense and offense also. To that end, it's my firm hope and dream, frankly, that together the Abraham Accords will turn out to be everything that we thought they would. Those 4 countries were very, very brave in doing it. They did it at a very early point, and every single one of them benefits unbelievably financially. And if you noticed, even in this bad period that we just went through, they all remained a member of the Abraham Accords. They've done unbelievably well. And you know who you are, and I want to thank you.
You've been listening to President Donald Trump speaking there in Israel this morning on a Monday morning, making what many would argue would be the biggest speech of his second term so far in office, calling for a beginning of a new Middle East.
That's right. We've been listening into that. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more here on WCNC Plus. Stay with us.
Good morning, everybody. We are now breaking the clouds, allowing for some extra sunshine. But as you can see, the flag's still moving pretty abruptly here over at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So still going to be a breezy, certainly first half of the day. High right around 77. That's about a 5-degree bump from what we had yesterday. And also dealing with a lot more sunshine. Something to look forward to. Check it out. We get rid of this cloud cover through this morning. And then overall, a mostly sunny to a partly cloudy afternoon. Just could be still cloudy at times. 56 degrees. That's going to be our low right when the sun's rising up tomorrow. And then overall mild before we're back to normal on Friday, dropping down to 51. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast keeps things pretty much well above the norm. 80 degrees on Tuesday, lower 80s during the weekend. Next chance for rain not until this coming Sunday. Enjoy the next week. It looks to be great. Let's head over to Majestic for a morning commute. How's it looking?
Good morning, everyone. It is a busy start to our Monday morning, nearly 8 o'clock this morning. It's going to take you around 50 minutes if you're coming in from Gastonia. Here's a live camera look. I-77 at 277 out there and up down. It is a quiet start there, but I do want to let you know right here on Independence, we do have a problem. You can see all of the red right here. There's an accident that is now making for the left-hand lane to be completely blocked. It's at Eastway Drive, so make sure you're careful there. Otherwise, the lane is also blocked on I-85 southbound before exit 26. That's out there in Gaston County. We'll have more coming up on WCNC Plus.
Streaming live right now at 8 a.m. right here on WCNC Plus. I'm Ben Thompson.
And then Lisa Washington. Just moments ago, we were listening as President Donald Trump addressed the Israeli parliament. This comes as all living Israeli hostages are now freed. Now, in the president's speech, he thanked the Arab and Muslim nations. He also said the long and painful nightmare is finally over.
He evidently is still speaking even as we speak to the parliament there. Let's take a listen.
To bitter failure, the state of Israel is strong and it will live and thrive forever. And that is why Israel will always remain a vital ally of the United States of America. Israelis share our values, field one of the world's most powerful militaries. You really do. You have an amazing, what a job you've done. And have one of the most innovative economies on earth. Those are just a few of the reasons why I'm proud to be the best friend that Israel has ever had. And they all say it in the White House. They all say it. I guess it's true because everybody says it, baby. You said it today. Thank you. But as president, I terminated the disastrous Iran nuclear deal, and ultimately I terminated Iran's nuclear program with things called B-2 bombers. It was swift, and it was accurate, and it was a military beauty. I authorized the spending of billions of dollars, which went to Israel's defense, as you know. And after years of broken promises from many other American presidents, you know that, they kept promising. I never understood it until I got there. There was a lot of pressure put on these presidents. It was put on me too, but I didn't yield to the pressure. But every president for decades said, we're going to do it. The difference is I kept my promise and officially recognized the capital of Israel and moved the American embassy to Jerusalem. Isn't that right, Miriam? Look at Miriam. She's back there. Stand up, Miriam. Stand up. Miriam and Sheldon would come into the office. They'd call me. He'd call me. I think they had more trips to the White House than anybody else I could think of. Look at her sitting there so innocently. She's got $60 billion in the bank, $60 billion. And I think she's saying no more. And she loves Israel, but she loves it, and they would come in, and her husband was a very aggressive man, but I loved him. He was a very aggressive, very supportive of me. And he'd call up, can I come over and see you? I say, Sheldon, I'm the president of the United States. It doesn't work that way. He'd come in and do it. But they were very responsible for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights, which is probably one of the greatest things to ever happen to Israel. Miriam, stand up, please. She really is. I mean, she loves this country. She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say. We love you. Thank you, darling, for being here. That's a great honor. Great honor. She's a wonderful woman. She is a great woman. I've always stood for the people of this community, and I always will. I'll always be with you. I'm always going to be with you. I guess maybe something could happen to change my mind. Somebody that's really stupid gets into office and wants to do really bad things, but that's about it. We don't think we're going to have that happen. I hope we're not going to have that happen. And this man is a good man right here. These two men are good men right here. Hey, I have an idea. Mr. President, why don't you give him a pardon? Give him a pardon. Come on. By the way, that was not in the speech, as you probably know. But I happen to like this gentleman right over here, and it just seems to make so much sense. You know, whether we like it or not, this has been one of the greatest wartime presidents. This has been one of the greatest wartime presidents. And cigars and champagne, who the hell cares about that? All right, enough controversy for the day, right? Actually, I don't think it's very controversial. So, you know, I mean, I see so popular. You are a very popular man. You know why? Because you know how to win. Over the past 2 years, I've met many of the families of the Israelis taken hostage and those that were taken hostage. Unbelievable. I've looked into their eyes. I've seen the worst nightmares of their suffering, but I've also seen something else, the beautiful love of the people, the love of people, frankly, that hold things together, the love that gives you the courage to carry on through thousands of years of persecution and repression and to emerge with the heart of David. It's the heart of David. It's that love that's defeated the enemies of civilization, built this incredible country and this unbelievable economy, and forged one of the great democracies of the world. That is why it's a true honor to stand here today and address this assembly in your ancient and eternal now capital, Jerusalem. I'm proud to have helped in that regard. This city and this nation stand as living proof that a much brighter future for this entire region is truly within our grasp. For thousands of years, Jerusalem has been a home to Christians, Jews, Muslims, and people of all ethnicities and creeds. This is the holy center of the world's three great Abrahamic faiths. I like that too. Adorned, it's the first time I've seen that word in a while. Adorned with their sacred sites and alive with their pilgrims and visitors from every corner of the globe. But here between the Western Wall, the Temple Mount, and the hill called Calvary, people of every faith and background live, work, pray, serve, and raise their families side by side, and they do it with love. This example is just one of the modern miracles that Israel has given to the world. And just in closing, the leaders in this chamber know better than anyone else the challenges of this harmony, and it's been easily won. No, it hasn't. It has not been. It's been so tough, but it has been, some say, a miracle. What you've done is a miracle. Look at your size. Look at your chances when it all started. And you know, if you think about it, you are safer today, stronger today, and more respected today than at any time in the history of Israel. Think of it. People used to say it wouldn't exist. They don't say that anymore, do they? Yet if safety, security, and coexistence can thrive here in the winding alleys and ancient paths of Jerusalem, then surely peace and respect can flourish among the nations of the broader Middle East. The God who once dwelled among his people in this city still calls us, in the words of Scripture, the turn from evil and do good, to seek peace and pursue it. So he still whispers truth into the hills and knolls and valleys of his magnificent creation, and he still writes hope into the hearts of his children all over the world. And that is why even after 3,000 years of pain and conflict, the people of Israel have never given up from the threats of Zionism, from all sorts of threats. You want the promise of Zion. You want the promise of success and hope and love and God. And the people of America have never lost faith in the promise of a great and blessed future for all of us. From the very first day that modern Israel was founded, we have stood together through thick and thin of setbacks, and through victory and defeat, through glory and heartache. We have built industries together. We have made discoveries together. We have confronted evil together, and we have waged war together, and perhaps, most beautifully of all, we have made peace together. And this week, against all odds, we have done the impossible and brought our hostages home. So now we're going to forge a future that is worthy of our heritage. We're going to build a legacy that all the people of this region can be proud of. New bonds of friendship, cooperation, and commerce will join Tel Aviv to Dubai, Haifa to Beirut, Jerusalem to Damascus, and from Israel to Egypt, from Saudi Arabia to Qatar, from India to Pakistan, from Indonesia to Iraq, from Syria to Bahrain, Turkey to Jordan, the United Arab Emirates to Oman, and Armenia to Azerbaijan, another war that I just settled. We are going to have hope, harmony, opportunity, and happiness here in the spiritual and geographic center of the entire world. That's what you are. Israel, America, and all of the nations of the Middle East will soon be safer, stronger, greater, and more prosperous than ever before. And I want to thank you all once again for this exceptional honor. This has been truly an honor. It's seldom that a president is invited to do this. And I love Israel. I'm with you all the way. You will be bigger, better, stronger, and more loving than ever before. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless the United States of America. And God bless the Middle East. Thank you, everybody. Good luck. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You have been listening to President Donald Trump speak at the Knesset, the Israeli parliament there this Monday morning, offering a optimistic view of what has been a dark time there in the Middle East over the last 3 years. Biggest headline of the morning is, at this point, all living Israeli hostages have been released. The president speaking to that, calling this a new age in the Middle East.
That's right. The president flew there overnight to make this address to the Israeli parliament, calling this the historic dawn of a new Middle East. Again, he alluded to the dancing in the streets, especially with the last of those living hostages being freed. So, of course, we'll continue to have the latest on this throughout the day here on WCNC Plus, but we also want to get to some news a little closer to home as well.
That's right. 8:14 right here on WCNC Plus, and we continue to follow breaking news. 2 people fighting critical injuries after being stabbed in West Charlotte last night. Medic confirming this happened over on Nobles Avenue near West Boulevard. No word yet what led up to that incident, but that was just one of several crime updates we are following for you this morning.
Right now, police are investigating a deadly shooting in North Charlotte. WCNC Charlotte's Richard Devane has the latest.
Yeah, police say they're going to be paying close attention to the surveillance cameras inside and outside of that location, trying to determine exactly what happened and why. Now, this morning, Charlotte-Mecklenburg police say they're investigating yet another deadly shooting, this one along this busy stretch of Charlotte's northwest side. Police say they were called to the 5000 block of Bettysford Road around 7 Sunday evening about a report of an assault with a deadly weapon. When officers arrived, they found a man suffering a gunshot wound, this at the Wingstop restaurant. Medic pronounced him dead at the scene. Police say the victim was not an employee at the store where the shooting happened. They also say that the public should not be overly concerned about this, as far as this was not a random act of violence. Detectives with the CMPD's homicide unit spent hours collecting evidence and speaking with witnesses. The department says this remains an active and ongoing investigation. Now, at this time, they say they're still investigating, but they also say they need the public's help in finding out exactly what happened. So if you have any information about this incident that happened here at the Wingstop, please give them a call. We're right here in Northwest Charlotte. This is Richard Devane. We'll send it back to you.
Thanks a lot, Richard. Getting right to your forecast. I first want to go to the Outer Banks. This is around Buxton. Check this out. Yeah, a lot of sediment and sand still on the roads from all the overwash that we saw from this low pressure system or nor'easter that moved through. And other examples, we're still looking at a lot of sand over here in Ocracoke, over at Hatteras Village. Looks like Highway 12 is A-OK, but still a lot of significant ponding as a lot of that water was coming up and over the dunes, and also the Oregon Inlet, a lot of sand on the roads as well. So this is not as big of an impact as what we saw from when we had Erin move offshore, but that was also a very strong major hurricane that brought a lot more waves onto shore. Still not great. A lot of flooding was also filmed around there as well. Meanwhile, we're in a nice little transition period because, yes, it is overall an overcast to a mostly cloudy start, but this is a much brighter sky compared to what we just saw about an hour ago. So we are heading into a much better environment. As you can see for our futurecast through the afternoon, things will be a whole lot brighter. Some of us even dealing with some wall-to-wall sunshine at times, but I really like to factor in today is going to be a mostly sunny to a partly cloudy one. Once we get rid of those clouds, just might be a little bit more patience for some of us to get rid of that cloud cover, especially further off towards the east. And then heading into your Tuesday morning, I think that we're clearing out, we're calming down. That's also going to support a little bit of ground clouds, aka some fog, especially up here in the valleys. So keep that in mind. Some patchy dense fog, not out of the question, especially when we have an environment like this. Far too windy in some spots, with those winds getting a lot lighter, and then a few more clouds by the end of tomorrow. So current temperatures right now, we're up to 63. By the way, we've been either at 62 or 63 degrees since 2 o'clock this morning. So temperatures really haven't moved too much. That's the power of that cloud cover. Now, once we get the sunshine, as we're starting to see, we're really going to see temperatures ramp up in a hurry. So today's highs, I moved it up to around 77 instead of the mid 70s, just because we are starting off so warm. So I think an easy 15-degree warm up from our low this morning, and a nice mix of cloud and sunshine for the afternoon. A few clouds heading into the evening, and then we should clear out through the overnight. Lows dropping down back into the 40s for you in the mountains, the mid 50s right around the Charlotte area, and it should be a decent start to the day. Sunrise right around 7:28, and our bottom for our lows really looks to be on Friday. Friday we have the lower 50s. We'll see a nice little comeback to around 60 degrees before we start to level out. What's going to happen in the short term is we have what's called a backdoor front. Usually fronts move from the northwest to the southeast. This one kind of moves in from the north and the northeast. That's going to allow us to be a little bit cooler, but not really a major impact overall. Also, now that we're into the middle part of October, which often can be the sweet spot, it's going to feel great. We will have some mild lows and mild highs, but nothing really too extreme. So how you feel over the next 4 days, just great, nice. And I don't really see any big sticky or uncomfortable surges on the way. It's this time of the year that we could still have one or two, but you're getting further and further from even needing to mention words like humid and muggy in our forecast, unless you're traveling somewhere. Now, our surface map right now shows that the big low pressure system that gave us most of the problems is to the north. We have this other weaker one that's just off the shoreline. That's pushing its way further off towards the east, and it's providing a little bit of rain for some of our eastern zones, but it's really starting to dial itself back. That's just brushing some clouds on and off through the next couple of days, but nothing really big to mention or write home about. Our rainfall chances taking a big old break. We have a whole lot of nothing today through Saturday, an isolated rain chance on Sunday. And real quick, it's 5 o'clock this morning. We officially had our 12th named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season, Tropical Storm Lorenzo. But I'm happy, like many of its brethren and sisters for our Atlantic hurricane season, most of them have turned back out to sea. That's exactly what this one's going to do. Lorenzo will get really close to hurricane strength, but it might just miss out. But I think it might touch hurricane strength briefly before starting the weekend. Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast actually has us close to 80 degrees compared to the lower to the mid 70s that we should be over the next 7 days. So not too bad. 80 degrees on Tuesday and highs in the lower 80s for this coming weekend. Not too shabby. Get outside and enjoy it. Let's get over to our morning commute. Majestic, how's it been looking?
Good morning. It's not too bad, actually. Let's start with this. A live camera coming in from I-85. This is out there at Sugar Creek. 63 degrees. You can see cars are flowing just fine. No significant delays if you're going to be traveling on I-85 or I-77. It's just kind of everything that we would typically see this time of the day. This is I-77 near Carowinds Boulevard, so out towards exit 90 there. I do want to let you know, as we're looking at our map, we only have one active crash right now. Only one active crash. It's right here on W.T. Harris Boulevard, impacting both directions, though, at Highway 49. So keep this one in mind. Otherwise, as we're looking to areas north of Charlotte, out towards Cornelius or Huntersville, we do have some slow-moving traffic as you're heading inbound. But again, no accidents there, just kind of our typical morning commute traffic. I-85, we are seeing those delays there out in Gaston County, but also the outer loop of 485 out near Berry Hill. We did have an accident there. It has since been cleared, but we are still seeing some delays there. Independence was also very messy this morning, especially moving inbound. Both of those accidents that I was following very carefully for you, they have since been cleared. So again, Lisa, only one active crash. If things do change, I'll be sure to let everyone know.
Thanks so much for that, Majestic. 8:22 now. As we head to break, here is an exclusive shopping deal for our viewers.
Hey, you know our team tests tons of products. We get rid of the rejects, only bring you the best. And this one, pay attention. This is super important today. This is the product right here. It's Halt. It's a firefighting spray foam. Did you know there are 358,000 house fires in the U.S. every year? 50% of them in the kitchen. And this is prime time. We're getting into the holiday season. Chance of fire goes way up. So we're about to start a fire in here to show you how this product works. Because think about it. If there were a fire in your house right now, do you know where your fire extinguisher is? Be honest, I bet you don't. And by the way, even when you find it, it's huge, it's bulky. Have you ever used it? You gotta pull the pin when seconds matter. So this thing, look how much smaller it is, right? This is like a can of Spam. Keep it right in the kitchen. I'm gonna start a fire here and show you how it works. Okay, so there we go, it's going. All you do is you pop this little cap off here and you spray it and boom, look at that. Gets the fire right. This works on grease fires. They say it works on any kind of fire. Some fire departments are even using this in their tanker trucks now. Safe for kids, safe for pets, non-toxic. Also, by the way, they have a fire blanket. It's great for grills, even protecting yourself. They have a passport protector, a document protector. Today, you can get up to 37% off. We got you that discount because this is so important. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to shoptvdeals.com.
All right, you're taking a live look right now over uptown on your Monday morning, the 13th of October. After what was a cloudy weekend, things, according to Chris Mulcahy, are going to be clearing up. Fingers crossed. I know this live shot is not...
I was going to say, I still see quite a bit of clouds out there, but Chris does say that there's a chance for some Carolina blues later today.
And actually, the whole week looking real nice.
Yeah, he'll have the 7-day coming up shortly.
Well, good morning, everybody. Yeah, we have an overcast sky right now, but there's some signs, some breaks going on, even a little bit of change in our foliage. Here it is. Look at that. Look at that stretch of blue. It will get brighter. It's just going to be a patient game. Some of us staying cloudier a little bit longer, but we are seeing some nice signs. 63 degrees right now in Charlotte. We gained 1 degree around Boone, up to 55. So a really mild start, but it's also going to be a breezy day. On and off gusts up to about 20 to 25, but it should be a much lighter situation by the end of the day. High of 77 actually might be a little bit on the cooler side compared to some of the days that we have. As far as our rainfall chances go, don't worry about it. In the short term, we are looking mighty fine. There is a slight chance that we have a second coming of rain come Sunday. So our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast, 80 on Tuesday, 82 on Saturday, 80 on Sunday. We're closer to 80 than where we should be in the lower to the mid 70s. So a nice little adjustment, a nice change. Each day come with a nice mix of cloud and sunshine. Even could have wall-to-wall sunshine on Thursday and again on Saturday. Majestic, what's going on this morning?
Good morning, everyone. This is I-85 here over on Statesville Ave. Area roadways are looking all right. People are traveling nice and safely for the most part. You can see our drive times are pretty much spot on. It's 8:27 right now. Going to take you right around 30 minutes if you're coming in from Belmont. Otherwise, there's my map there. We have our typical delays, but also one active crash right here. It's going to be on W.T. Harris Boulevard and North Tryon Street. Keep this one in mind. That is our only active crash. Stay safe and have a great day.
Thanks for streaming live on WCNC Plus at 8:30 on this Monday. I'm Lisa Washington.
And I'm Ben Thompson. Just moments ago, President Trump wrapped up his address to the Israeli parliament. It comes as all living Israeli hostages are now freed.
Let's take a listen.
This is not only the end of a war. This is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
That's a crowd in Tel Aviv this morning. They are gathering to celebrate the return of the 20 living Israeli hostages. Now, this is part of the first phase of that peace deal between Israel and Hamas. Also, take a look at your screen right now. You can see people cheering, holding signs, and of course, waving the Israeli flag there. We'll have much more on this throughout the day here on WCNC Plus.
Now we're following some breaking news out of South Charlotte. Take a look. These are live pictures right now. CMPD investigating a homicide in South Park. This is a live look at Barclay Downs outside the Hazel South Park Apartments. This is directly behind South Park Mall, if you're familiar with the area, where it backs up to Barclay Downs. You can see still an active police presence there, even as we speak, as our photographer pushes in to some of the police cruisers there. Right now, to be transparent, details are very limited, but we do know a person has died of a gunshot wound. We do not know any other nature of this investigation or really what police know, but at this point we know one person shot and killed, and police calling this a homicide investigation, which is often protocol in a situation like this, even though we don't know the real details quite yet. As you can see, we have a crew there at this scene. They'll be speaking to investigators to find out more information, but again, a homicide investigation underway in the middle of South Park here on a Monday morning. We'll keep you posted right here on WCNC Plus.
Other news this morning, CMS parents, listen up. The chance to choose what's best for your child's education is here. The CMS School Choice Lottery is open, but this year it comes with some changes. WCNC Charlotte's Destiny Richards has the details.
The window to apply for CMS School Choice is now open, giving families the chance to apply for magnet and specialized programs throughout the district. Families can apply for the 2026-2027 school year from now through December 5th, selecting up to 3 school choice options for their student. This year, all available school choice seats will be split across 3 socioeconomic categories, high, medium, and low, to help promote diversity in classrooms. There are also several guarantees in place, including spots for students already in magnet programs and sibling priority to keep families together.
We hope at the end of this that all families will be able to attend school in CMS where they prefer.
Before applying, students must be registered in CMS and have their student ID number. The district is also hosting open houses, information sessions, and tours to help families explore their options. Results from the lottery will be released a couple of weeks after the application window closes on December 5th. For more information on the open houses and information sessions coming up, just see this story on the WCNC Charlotte News app. In West Charlotte, and Destiny Richards, WCNC Charlotte.
8:34 right now here on WCNC Plus. State Superintendent Mo Green was here in town over the weekend discussing the future of North Carolina's public schools. He was the keynote speaker at the Education Summit on Saturday, alongside our own Nick Sturdivant as well. During the panel, Green talked about efforts to boost teacher pay, which is currently in limbo because of state budget negotiations. He says pay is moving in the right direction, but it's still not where it needs to be to attract and retain top teaching talent.
I would also say that the House put out a budget that I was going to say, guys, let's sign off on that because it's not fully where we need to be, but it is moving in the right direction. The Senate basically said, guys, go back, because what you are doing isn't close to what we need for our educators. And so with no budget, then I feel like there's no other, I can't imagine that any answer could be other than no, we're not where we need to be.
The State House and Senate will return to session on October 20th.
Let's check back in with Chris now to get an update on our forecast. You say we will see some blue skies later today.
Yeah, they're peeping out, I swear. And some of you might be saying, oh, I see it outside my window, Chris. It's not a lot, but it will become a lot more prevalent as we work our way through today. Yesterday, 72. Technically, you did see some breaks in the clouds, but all in all, the clouds won out this weekend. And 77 degrees is our forecasted high for today. We've already started off quite warm. Now, if you look through this camera over here in Monroe, you're probably not seeing too much. It is a little bit brighter there, but there it is. That's blue sky, trust me. And now up above, just depends where you are. Some of us dealing with an overcast sky, but others are starting to see more of a broken overcast. It's turned to more of a mostly cloudy situation. Eventually, could even be mostly sunny on and off throughout the afternoon. 55 right around Boone, 60 in Statesville, 63 still the warm spot here in Charlotte. These temperatures have only fluctuated by a degree or so over the last several hours. I mean, for 6 hours now, we've pretty much been at this temperature. That's about to change because you can actually see some shadows here, which is good news for the sunshine over here in Concord. Definitely seeing a much brighter sky, and then that means we're slowly going to be progressing through our temperature range up in the lower 70s by about 1 p.m. And then our winds are also going to get a lot calmer at that point as well. As far as our rainfall chances go, I'm not worried about anything. Seriously, it's going to be a drier atmosphere once we go through the next several days. It's not until next Sunday that we really start to see a significant change on the horizon, but overall really not too bad. So I want to go through our 10-10-10 forecast, and it will be a piece of what you just saw for the rain chances. But our high temperature range today is going to be in the mid to the upper 70s. After that, you can see that temperatures are going to really be anywhere from the mid 70s to the lower 80s. It's not until day absolute 10, even 11 of the forecast that you see on October 23rd that we're back down into the lower 70s, which, by the way, we averaged 74 for this day in climatology. By the end of October, we averaged 68 degrees. So these 80s are going to become more and more of a rarity and actually closer to a record than what you'd normally expect. So what I'm telling you, I'm not telling you to do anything, just take advantage of these warmer temperatures because they are becoming a rarity the deeper that we go through the month of October. Now, as far as our lows go, pretty soon we're going to be averaging more of the 40s, and we don't really see that. Our average low of 52 degrees for today is being exceeded by the lower 60s that we have, and then we have the mid 50s before we have one day that is actually perfectly normal. That's right around 50 degrees on Friday, so that is the chilliest morning that we have over the next 7, and then back to around 60 before we level out in the mid 50s. And the last of our 10-10-10 forecast over the next 10 days, I already showed you that there's a chance for rain on Sunday. Well, beyond that, we have just an isolated rain chance next Tuesday and Wednesday, so nothing really standing out from all the rest. So really a great 7 to 10 days of October on tap, so get outside and enjoy them. That's your weather report. Now let's double check with Majestic to see how your morning commute's faring on this Monday.
Good morning, everyone. Well, here's a live camera. This one is I-77 looking south. This is at Trade Street, exit 10. There is an accident. You can see it right there. The left lane is currently blocked because of it, but you can still tell that traffic is still able to get around it pretty smoothly. Just be careful if you are heading that way. 63 degrees as you're heading out the door. Drive times are still looking pretty spot on at this point. Around 30 minutes if you're coming in from Gastonia, and around 45 to 50 minutes if you're coming in from Salisbury. Here's my map right now. You can see our typical delays. I-85, I-77, of course, but we also have this active crash here. It's on W.T. Harris Boulevard, impacting both directions at North Tryon Street. I'm still seeing mainly green and a little yellow with it, so we're not seeing significant delays with that one. And then just to the south, the lane is blocked because of a crash. This time it's not on Independence, but rather it's on Central Ave, impacting both ways at Hawthorne Lane. Seeing that orange, meaning that traffic is moving rather slowly. As we're heading north of Charlotte, you can see I-77 coming in from Mooresville to Huntersville. Not too bad. Definitely seeing some slowdowns if you are heading inbound, but that's just mostly a lot of people heading in the same direction. And then I-85 here out towards Gaston County looks all right. Still seeing those delays on 485, the outer loop there. Remember, we did have an accident, but that has since been cleared. There you go. I-77 inbound and southbound lanes, specifically seeing some slowdowns there, but that's what we would see. Just before 9 o'clock this morning, I did just double check to see if there's any crashes right there, and there's not as of now. Lisa.
Majestic, thanks. This morning, as the federal government shutdown drags on, local food pantries are feeling the pressure. In Charlotte, nonprofit Champion House of Care says it's seeing more families show up than ever before. Staff says items are moving faster than they can restock the shelves. Right now, the team is calling on the community to help keep their shelves full.
We may have to start making some adjustments, rather that mean giving people less food that they're receiving right now, so that way we can spread it out some more, or doing a food drive, but just trying to make sure that every family goes away with something to eat.
To find out how you can help Champion House of Care, you can head to our website, WCNC.com. Every year, 10 million people are impacted by domestic violence. It's why the second annual Walk for Empowerment was held yesterday at Pineville Lake Park. According to the National Institutes of Health, 1 in 3 adult women and 1 in 10 adult men experience domestic violence. The abuse leads to about 1,500 deaths each year in the United States. The goal of the walk is to honor the victims and to support those who are still struggling to escape abusive relationships.
Each step is like
every step a woman has to take in order to get out of situation. And every step that we take here in representation of all those women who have died, who are still struggling, and people like me who are survivors.
If you or someone you know is experiencing domestic violence, visit WCNC.com to learn more about available support and resources. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on WCNC Plus. In St. Helena Island, officials are still investigating that mass shooting that happened early Sunday morning. It was at a crowded bar that left 4 people dead and at least 20 injured.
It happened at Willie's Bar and Grill, which was packed for a high school alumni event at the time. That's when the owner says he heard shots being fired outside.
We have to be in front of these things. It could have been prevented. It should have been prevented. You know, it has to be ways to make the area safe. Like as a club, as an owner, like we feel almost sometimes like captive. You know what I mean? Like we're just sitting back here wishing and hoping we could do more. But what can any security guard do against a weapon that fires up? Like what army do we have? You know, like things have to happen and things have to change in terms of leadership. Man, it looked like a lot of people that care. You saw people giving CPR, you saw people picking people up, you saw people crying. People care. Like, this community didn't do this, a person did this. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, a person made a decision that cost a lot of people lives. But you saw what it was. Like, people cared. People was in tears, people was hurt, people still hurt.
The sheriff's office says it's investigating persons of interest in connection with the incident and asking anybody with information to come forward. By the way, happy birthday to the U.S. Navy. October 13th, 1775 marks the day the Navy was founded. That means today the Navy turns 250 years old. Its origins date back to the early days of the American Revolution. On October 13th, the Continental Congress created a naval force, hoping privateers would take on British ships and challenge their sea power. Celebrations kick off this morning in several different places, including Philadelphia, where the Navy was born.
We are going to take a quick break, but keep it right here on WCNC Plus. Another update on weather and traffic.
Exciting times over here. Weather impacts, not a lot going on. It's still on the breezier side. Yesterday, if you were walking around there in the evening, I was hearing cricks and cracks coming from the woods all around as we had wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour, and then a few reported down trees, but nothing really too major blocking any traffic. But check it out, off in the distance, off yonder, you're seeing a little bit of blue sky. Clouds still winning out, but then slowly, steadily throughout the day, we are going to erode this cloud cover, and things are going to be trending in a good direction. Real quick, each and every morning, I do our dog of the day, or in this case, dogs of the day. This is Remy and Toby Tater. Good day, good morrow. And it looks like these two are just absolutely adorable. We also have Jeremy's daughter that is highlighting. Toby Tater and Remy. So again, the wonderful dogs, and again, I do this every single morning over on WCNC Charlotte on our TV waves, and that's around 6:25 in the morning. So just wanted to share this with it. And then we have this music. See, it's a great segment. We pump everything up. We have great times, and we're talking about sunshine, sunshine, sunshine heading into the afternoon. Again, big shout out to Remy and Toby and Scene. Thanks a lot, Cody, for pumping everything up there. We have also a hoodie, shorts, and sunglasses type of forecast for the tools of the day. It's kind of a complex forecast that we're starting off warmer that you can get by with the hoodie, but you don't really need it a little bit later on. Current temperatures right now about 63 degrees. This temperature has not moved much, but once it does move, it is going to move in a hurry. I like where things are going overall, and then we are anticipating a pretty decent overnight. Those lows are going to be on the milder side because we typically should be in the lower 50s, popping down in the 40s. We don't have much of that going on over the next 7 days. Instead, we have the mid to the upper 50s and even the lower 50s on Friday. So really not too bad of a forecast. We'll drop down in the 40s again for the mountains, but those cooler nights is what you ideally like to see. Our Jerry Hunt Supercenter 7-day forecast shows that temperatures are actually close to 80 degrees compared to the lower to the mid 70s. So that's a great forecast. Don't have another rain chance really until next Sunday, 30% there. So nothing really even too major. No major weather systems. All is well for that Charlotte FC game, at least for now, heading into Saturday. So great looking forecast. Take advantage of it.
That is a good looking 7 day. Chris, thanks. A new bar in Wisconsin claims it is the first women-centered sports bar. Along with live music and food, the owner says it'll focus on women's sports.
Sam Schwartz tells us about the special story behind the bar's creation and the Madison native who's making it happen.
Madison's bar roster just got a little bigger.
It's going to be a live blues music and sports bar, along with great soul food.
But the newest addition, Burnell's, isn't quite like the rest.
In the sports, we're going to highlight women-centered sports. We'll be the only bar in Madison that is doing that, and I'm very excited about that.
Soon, these ketchup bottles will be full, TVs will be on the walls, and the bar will be filled with all types of sports fans.
There's been conversation that if I say women-centered, that men won't want to come, and that's so not true.
Rita Adair has a deep connection to sports.
My family is very athletic. I have a nephew in the NFL. My father was a bodybuilder. My mother was a national swimmer. So I have a lot of history in being around sport. This is Brunel's nephew, Amani Hooker, number 37 with the Titans.
Rita was also connected to sports through her late wife, Burnell Hooker, who the bar is named after.
She was a women's basketball coach and taught the business of sports. And she also was just an avid fan of women's sports. And she always wanted to own a women's sports bar.
Making sure Burnell's wish falls through the net.
It feels incredible. Burnell was humble, and she didn't brag about herself at all. She's made history in women's sports, especially in Wisconsin. So I wanted to carry that on for her.
Serving up a community where anyone can enjoy women's sports, no matter who walks through the door.
This isn't just the only women's bar. This is a bar for sports that's going to make sure that women are seen.
All right, good morning, everyone. Let's get a quick update on traffic as you're heading out the door this morning. About 30 minutes if you're going to be coming in from areas like Gastonia, just over 20 if you're coming in from Belmont. Overall, not a terrible start to the day. We do have a few active crashes, though. This one's still ongoing. It's at W.T. Harris Boulevard and North Tryon Street. Still seeing mainly green with it, so not seeing significant delays. However, a lane is currently blocked because of a crash. This is right by Independence. It's on Central Ave Both ways are being impacted at Hawthorne Lane, seeing more yellows and oranges popping up, meaning that traffic is being delayed right there. And then this is our newest crash. It's going to be on Carmel Road at Asherton Drive. Those are the 3 active things that you need to know before you head out the door. If you're taking I-77 from areas north of Uptown, all green really. Some minor slowdowns between Cornelius and Huntersville, but we would expect that this time of the day. We'll have a final check on traffic coming up here shortly. Back to you guys.
All right, Majestic, thanks so much. Well, this morning, some news that Swifties will appreciate. In the last 30 minutes, Taylor Swift announcing that a 6-episode docuseries about the Eras Tour will be released on Disney Plus in December. On Instagram, Swift posted, quote, "We allowed filmmakers to capture this tour and all the stories woven throughout it." This announcement comes after Swift's 12th studio album, The Life of a Showgirl, was released just 10 days ago.
I think we sort of anticipated something like this was going to happen.
Yep.
Beyonce did something similar with her tour, and we knew that cameras were following
For
Taylor,
sure.
which was, I mean, that Eras tour went on and on.
She
and
went
on.
all over.
All
I would
over
love
the
to
place.
see it because there's so many things that are behind the scenes that you don't even think about. So I
Right.
think it would be interesting to just watch that side of it
Yeah.
all.
December, you'll be able to.
The one place she didn't come.
Maybe next time, Taylor. Just saying.
Beyonce did. Beyonce
She
did.
sure did.
Taylor, but we love Taylor.
We do.
Next time. All right, let's go to live pictures right now inside our live Impact studio. Coming up, Jane Montreal is going to have all the latest news. That's coming right.
Nick.
That's not Jane.
That's
it's
not
Nick.
Jane.
I thought it was going to be Jane. It's Nick though.
Definitely not.
No, it's Nick.
He's going to have all the latest news coming your way in just a couple of minutes.
It's getting brighter, y'all. Check it out. And we've also got up to 65 degrees. That is the biggest movement in temperatures that we've had in close to 8 hours. 54 degrees right around Boone. And it is a great forecast. May you be doing apple picking today or just anything outside or just going to work to and from. We have temperatures reaching the mid 70s, even up to around 77 for a max across the area. So evening out forecast, we're still going to be mixing in some clouds here and there. Temperatures down to where we're at right now by about 11 p.m. And then through the overnight, we see our lows venturing down to the mid 50s, down to the lower 50s on Friday. Friday looks to be the only average to slightly below normal day. Other than that, close to 80 degrees over the next 7. Let's get right over to Majestic. Good morning.
Everyone, let's get to it. We're heading into our Monday. There's a live camera look. This is I-85 where, yes, a little sunshine is starting to peek through. There's some of those drive times around 30 minutes if you're coming in from areas like Belmont or even Gastonia. Still looking at quiet conditions as we're now looking northeast of Charlotte where this crash on W.T. Harris Boulevard has since been cleared.